I am on the stream. Okay. I can see there's people here. Hi, if you're there. You can't see me. You can see my hand if I do that. This in the middle of the screen is why I'm doing a test, because that is stuck there. So, hey, there we go. Yeah, I am literally, hi everyone, I'm doing a test again, okay? So this isn't what the future of these may look like. Oh God, comments already. Yeah, Gerald, you absolutely should not be admitting you've nothing better to do than watch me mess about with software on a Saturday night. But I don't either. So yay, pro illusionist Andy, you all right? Hi Mel, I can't see you actually. I can see your little stickery thing. You all right? So since some of you are here, literally one of you would have done. So this is great. People are going to chip in. I've upgraded to StreamYard for some future stuff, right? Let's just say that for now. And I'm just testing some bits out before things kind of kick off. So I've got a new light. Does this look any better than it normally does? If you're in the chat, then tell me yes or no. If you think the lighting looks a bit better than normal. Does the camera look okay? Does this look acceptable YouTube quality for people? Or for streaming quality? I would be very interested to know. Awkward now if no one says anything back in the chat. But yeah, I would like to know. What I'll do is I will create a banner. Does the stream quality look okay to you? Leave note in chat. Oh, boom. Looks good. Yep, looks great. Hey, hi Dustin, you okay? Don't wear black. Yeah, this is my kicking about the house, like pajama type t-shirt. It's a real t-shirt, but yeah, it's you look good in the light. Background looks a bit dark. Maybe that's what you're going for. I don't know, Katie. Yeah, so usually what you see is I've got a light off to the side, okay? It's like, and that light's like this, and that's normally how I record. Do you want to know a secret, people? This towel, which is a gym cornet, if anyone knows wrestling, this little towel normally goes over the light to block it out. But you know, that's not entirely professional, is it? So I got rid and I bought like a proper light for the background. So that's now behind the PC. Hanging on two nails. Yeah, so the background is dark, right? So yeah, light off is better. I'm not putting that light back on. The idea is I now have a light behind the PC, that I've like a proper photography light. If I turn that off, that would be the usual me sitting in the dark looking proper scary, right? But I'm going to lighten up the back a bit. Yeah, I definitely look better with the light off. That's true. The the background. Thanks, Gerald. I'm going to be putting some stuff, and I'm going to get a little bit more for the what do you call it? I've got stuff to put up on the back anyway, just to brighten it up a little bit, and I add some more lighting. That's like a black photography background that's there. If that's not there, it's a, what do you call it? Basically concrete wall that I plasterboarded over, so it looks horrendous. So I'm going to put something else up as well. But yeah, so it's getting there with the setup and stuff. I am literally making this up as I have done from the start. Pro Illusionist looks a little blown out. What does blown out mean? Are you saying my £10, which is like $13, little UFO thing? That's like it changes color as well, you know. So very professional. It's definitely not sitting on a pack of A4 printer paper to make it look like it's slightly raised. I wouldn't do that. That would be shocking. So yeah, this poster here, people always ask about it. Hi Mark, you all right? This is one of Dan's. He doesn't give me anything for free, by the way. Dan made me buy it. So yeah, he's busy this evening, didn't want to be here. Oh, I moved a bit, looks really nice now. Cool. that's what I need to know, folks. So I do want to hear if people. Do you know what? It's still not doing the thing. So ticker show. There we go. Okay, cool. That's on for people. I am going to keep repeating that I'm just testing this stuff out. So when I come to do these properly, it's a bit better. Guys like Lou Jimenez and Michael and all those guys who do YouTube shows, Ryan Sprague, make this look really easy. I'm an audio podcast for many reasons, but there's some stuff coming up that I'll be doing more video. Not to take away from the audio side of things, that is still my preferred platform, absolutely. But yeah, there's some stuff coming up that I'll be using video for that'll be exciting, and hopefully people will get involved in as well, which will be good, which is nice. So yeah, Martin, a neon UFO in the background. Thanks, Harry. Very nice of you to say. Cool name. I named my kid after you, obviously. Well, one of them. So yeah, I'm getting all lost now. You'll have to keep me right in the chat. So this is fun, just talking to myself. This is great. So the Lou poster is one of Dan's. That's on Dan's Redbubble site. If anyone wants to pick one up, which is pretty cool. I remember when I first interviewed Lou back in February, I had to ask him, did he find it off-putting to be looking at a picture of himself for the whole interview, and he just laughed. He was fine with it, obviously, but it's a bit awkward. And I've got like my stack of books and stuff, which people can see. The framing I've got is great. God, thanks, Martin. That's what I need to hear. I've moved the stuff inside the. People know it's a shed, but if I just call it a studio, that makes it look a lot more acceptable, doesn't it? Can I get one of that UFO podcast light things? You absolutely can. Not from me. So that you forget it's reversed. That is from, if you're in the UK, the Gadget Shop, or like, is it called Mankind now? I'm not sure. They say that's just one of those little light boxes that comes with like every single letter 5 times in some shapes. So yeah, that's one of those for like £10 you can buy. If you want, I'll buy you one and put that on it for you and charge you 50 quid, because that's how that stuff usually works, isn't it? But yeah, you can get them for like 10 quid. That's all that is. Now I made that one up for the background. Makes it look UFO-y. Yeah, it's kind of spooky, isn't it? Like right outside, there's people walking past. Like if you want to break the fourth wall, walking their dogs and kids getting drunk and stuff up and down the street, and I'm in here talking about UFOs. So it's fitting, absolutely fitting. Todd, got to show you John Greenwald. Lol. John Greenwald, I'm jealous of that setup. I think I've said that before with all the TVs that he's got. That is so cool. I don't. I have a PC with a webcam, and do you know what? I was even trying to get my phone, which I managed to do as a webcam, and it's better quality, but it doesn't make a massive difference, to be honest. And I can't be bothered messing about with the settings to get it to look closer. So I've got like a decent webcam up just now anyway. Who am I to be wanting better quality on this face? But yeah, so I moved the PC and stuff about a little bit in here and kind of gave it a long overdue tidy up. If I ever shown anyone, I wonder if anyone can guess what that UFO podcast sign is actually sitting on. I'll share a secret with people live on this chat. So that background is actually, you can't tell, it's coming out at an angle, and that sign is sitting on top of something that's hidden. And if anyone can guess, then you'll win a prize. Let's just say that, yeah. That might not be a physical prize, but yeah. Stephen, Puerto Rico, lovely. What's it like out in Stephen Martel's not a very Puerto Rican name, is it? Yeah, Gerald, A4 paper. Yeah, it's on top of a pack of A4 paper, but the A4 paper is on top of something else. There's a bigger object underneath that, and it's not a table. I will give you that clue. I'm not going to ask you a quiz question where I've literally just told you before what it was on top of. But yeah. Martin, Buckfast bottles outside. Probably not in the northeast of England. They're not big bucky people. Harry, Yellow Pages, nah, it's on top of an A4 thingy of paper, but it's on top of a bigger item. So yeah. So yeah, folks, thanks. Near Area 51, Stephen. Nice. I want to try and get out there one day. It's on a gas heater, must be cold in there. Nope. no gas heater, folks. You know that all that Patreon money, the millions that I bring in. I'm going to knock something over probably. This is like that is my heater for the winter when it gets cold. Got it from Asda for £5. The box is bashed, so I got yep. So all that money I make, that's the kind of bad boys I roll with. That's it. Do you know what? I wish there was a beer fridge in here or just a fridge. I don't drink that much. I can't do hangovers with the kids anymore. So yeah, it's definitely not a beer fridge. I wish I did have just a fridge though. But yeah, so that's my little heater and stuff. Todd, has Lou done a private convo with you, informed you of any info he will not say in an interview, like his opinion and stuff? So I asked Lou, I've told people before, I don't like, when people do that whole anonymous sources stuff, and my sources tell me, but, the big one was in the lead up to the task force report, okay? When loads of folk were telling us they knew what was going to be in the report, the length of it, all that kind of stuff, right? But they also caveated it with, that all might change last minute, and if it does, then that's because something happened. Then what's the point in sharing it? It just gives you an out. So I hate all that anonymous sourcey stuff. So sometimes you get told stuff and you take it with a pinch of salt, don't you? I asked Lou though a question when I finished recording, and I wasn't sure if he would answer it or not. And I said to him, look, I did have one question that I really did want to ask you, that I just never got to, but I don't know if you'd answer it. And he went, yeah, just ask me, go on. And I said to Lou, so if you were president or just in some sort of official capacity where you're no longer had an NDA that applied in any way, shape, or form, okay, just purely hypothetical, how much of what you know would you tell people? I was thinking Lou would say there would still be, thinking of all that somber chat and all that kind of stuff he's talked about, and things being heady on him. And I thought he might say that, what, even with all I know, I still wouldn't tell everyone anything. And he said he was quite happy to share it. He said, you know what, tell your listeners. I would tell people everything, every single thing he knew. He said he would share, which I thought was interesting. I didn't think he would say that. So, that was pretty cool, yeah. But obviously, Lou's coming back on in a few weeks. I got him that confirmed with him the other day. So when he's finished his traveling and had a bit of a relaxing chill and everything, he'll be back on for part 2. Is the sign on top of the sports model? No, it's not. But what I'm doing this totally professionally and keep leaving the frame. That is my I did buy one of the Bob Lazar signed sports model posters, just for me. I like the Bob story and stuff, so I've followed it for years and years. So that's going to go up on the wall. I need to get it framed though. So I would love to get Bob Lazar on the podcast. I did ask him to personalize it to Andy at that UFO podcast, which he did. And I did drop in the notes that I'd love to speak to him sometime, but one can dream. When is Anjali happening? Harry, I've said I've not hidden or online at all or anything. I've tried to message Anjali several times, and people saw that she rather publicly accepted to come on the podcast. Someone else asked her if she would come on, one of the listeners. That was really kind of them, and she agreed. But she's never checked her DMs or responded, and she's chosen one or two other platforms, which is her choice to go on. So I don't think the Anjali one will happen, but is there much more to ask her? I think people have pretty much made up their minds with this one now. I don't think anything will come of it. I've said that before. I'd love to be proven wrong, but I think time will tell with that one, unfortunately. Mark, a record case? No, that's not right. No one yet. I'm asking folks, the sign is on top of a stack of paper, but underneath that, it's on top of a bigger object. If anyone can guess what that object is, I'll tell you. Is it sitting on a part of Hadrian's Wall? Rufflecopter? Nope. Lux, have you reached out to Tom DeLonge for an interview? Many times, many times. James McMahon, who's a journalist, gave the podcast a shout out in his interview with Tom DeLonge the other day. Tom is doing his interviews right now based purely on music, which obviously a lot of people are asking Tom about UFOs, but he wants to do kind of the music stuff to promote Angels and Airwaves, which is fine. I'm hoping to maybe get Tom later in the year, hopefully. I've got tentative little baby steps of maybe, which would be good. Maybe some warm white Christmas lights. Katie, I've been thinking about putting some lights up round the round that way. But who knows? Who knows? Dustin, did you see my recommendation for asking Linda Moulton how on? Yep. Actually, before my wife gave birth back in May, which is a weird way to start an interview request story, Linda was coming on to promote Contact in the Desert, because I was doing some stuff for them. Totally free promotion, by the way, folks. I never got anything for it or anything. I was happy to do it, but I had to delay it because of baby arriving and all that kind of stuff that happened at the time. And I've just not heard back from Linda recently. I think she's been busy. So I've dropped a few emails. I don't like to harass guests or jump too much, but I've got Ross Coulthart on Monday morning, which I'm looking forward to. He's done a load of interviews in the last couple of months, and I have a ton of listener questions for him. So I'm looking forward to getting to put a lot of those to Ross. And then Jamal Thomas, Progressive Soapbox, he's coming on hopefully the end of next week as well. And Nick Cook, the UK researcher's coming on too. Plus, I've got the second and third part of the listener call-in shows to get out and stuff, which will be pretty good to do. So yeah, some good stuff coming up. Plus, don't forget Lou Elizondo in October part 2 as well. What else? Martin, yeah, the poster is cool. You get them off Dan's website. And listen, I'll tell you this for free as well. Like on like Redbubble, you can put how much as a creator you want to earn from your stuff. So I could make a t-shirt, right? And Redbubble charge like £14.50, let's just say. I can choose whether I want that to go up and up and up to make more money. Dan, as well as myself, we've got ours right down at the very bottom. We make like 40 or 50 pence, I think, from a t-shirt. So I think I've got £6 sitting in my merchandise store. It's not something there we've got to make money. It's just if people want to buy merchandise, they can for the podcast logos. And Dan's stuff is exactly the same. He makes like the bare minimum from any of it. It's certainly not something we make a living off of. So if you did want to get one of Dan's posters, jump on his store, and he'd be really appreciative of people buying any of his art and stuff because he puts a lot of hard work into it. So yeah. Yeah, UFO Andy. Hi, SR, you all right? Again, folks, as it says at the bottom, just checking the stream quality looks okay and the camera and the lighting and stuff like that. And I'm going to do some stuff in a few minutes with some video just to see what people think, how it looks. Vinny, how we doing, Disclosure team? Vinny, if you are free, feel free to jump on. I did message you. Give me 2 minutes, folks. I'm going to be really professional, okay? I am not texting Vinny. You aren't on. So yeah, Vinny from Disclosure team just jumping in the chat there as well. I had messaged him before, but he ignored me as well, as all my friends do. Mr. Calhoun, why is nobody talking about crop circles anymore? Do you know what? I've reached out to a couple of people, and I'm going to be I can't really. I don't. It's not an announcement. There's an event on an online one in about a month's time that Dan and I have been asked to do an hour-long presentation on the state of UAP disclosure, and it's for a group that's really interested, predominantly in crop circles, based in the UK, and they've asked us to do that. So look out for that one, folks. That's the first time we've been asked to do anything like that, which will be nice. So I don't want to announce details though, because that's not my job to do that. It's someone else's event and all that kind of stuff. I love crop circles, and do you know what? It's criminal that I've not yet had a proper pod on crop circles, and that's something I'll do before the end of the year. If anyone's got any suggestions on really good guests for crop circles, drop them in the chat, or even better, email me. Remember, UFOUAPAM@gmail.com would be great. Kirill B, guitar cabinet or amplifier. It's good, but it's not the answer. It's not bad. Gerald Greenwood, give us a clue. It's a relatively common household appliance. That's the clue. Alex, hey, how you doing? Pro Illusionist, is it on some big speaker? Nope. Mel Taylor, is it on a whiskey barrel? I'm not an alcoholic. No, it's not though. Vinny said hi to Stephen. Encountered a UAP in 1990 in San Juan, Puerto Rico, driving on a fully packed highway about 9 p.m. Bright light passed over the highway and crossed about 2 miles. Stopped with no inertia in front of a 20-story building, went up and over the building, zoomed off north super fast. That's really cool. I always... Vinny will be home in 10 minutes, so if we're still on, Vinny can jump in. Josh, how did I get the Lou Elizondo interview? My second ever guest was Sean Cahill, and I've kept in touch. I don't think we've ever kept that a secret. Like, I kept in touch with Sean ever since then, and we got on really, really well. Sean's really good friends with Lou, and I think anyone who's interested in UFOs, especially if you've got any kind of media outlet, podcast, magazine, whatever, you want to speak to him. And I was really lucky that we got put in touch when he was doing his kind of media run back in February. And yeah, just kept in touch then. So I think Lou appreciates the listeners and people's questions and the tone of the podcast and everything as well. So we try and make things a little bit different when he comes on. His time's precious, and yeah, like anyone's is, like all of you sitting here watching me mess about on this. Think you can get your hands on Jacques Vallée? I mean, that sounds a bit sinister, doesn't it? Like in a threatening way. Maybe down the line that would be good. He doesn't do many podcasts at all, and Jack, I think it's fair to say, is getting on in years, and he's constantly busy. So just getting that time. But yeah, I would love to speak to Jacques Vallée. So that would be good. Axeman, I just thought I saw a UFO in Scotland. It was a Chinese lantern. Yeah, that's the thing. Like everything now, Chinese lantern. Before drones got really popular, whenever somebody saw something slowly floating across the sky, that was the go-to. Whereas now it seems to be drones, obviously, which is it's an easy one to go with. So unfortunate timing for the that technology to kind of come into play. SR, have you ever tried to get an aerial school student on for an interview? No, but there's a documentary coming out about that event and our incident, and hopefully off the back of that we can speak to some people who were there. Of course, do you know what? I love to speak to anyone on the podcast. I think sometimes though you've got to weigh up, especially if it's a witness to that sort of event. How much could you really ask them that's not done in a documentary? For example, at the end of The Phenomenon, the way James Fox puts that together, it's probably more of a personal thing. Like, and I always consider the podcast as like everyone who listens to it's kind of vehicle or how they listen to it. And if enough people wanted me to do that, I would. But I think sometimes I hear someone get interviewed and think that's perfect. Why ask them anymore? Like Ross Coulthart coming on. What's the point in me asking Ross? So tell me about your book. Tell me about this. You've all heard that. Everyone's heard Ross's interviews, and they've all read or seen the book or heard about the book. So trying to kind of mix it up a little bit with some of the interviews is what we try and do. Can you ask to swear for Ross to swear? It really makes me laugh. I'm sure Ross will swear when he's on the podcast. Apologies in advance for the language. Thoughts on the Wilson Davis documents, Todd? Yeah, do you know what? I suppose more than anything, it's hope that they're real. I would love for those to be real. I'm sure incidents like that happen. This is just one that you hear of, like with anything, like the Nimitz and Princeton Tic Tac event. Loads of those have happened. This is just the one that came out. So yeah, I'm sure there's been a lot of meetups like the Wilson Davis stuff. I think you've got to look at Admiral Wilson totally denying it ever happened, which you would expect. Fair enough. That's what they would do. But that gets into conspiracy territory as well, doesn't it? That, oh, well, yeah, they always lie. But maybe he is telling the truth. But in that case, then Eric Davis is lying. And you've heard Mr. Elizondo on podcasts himself recently say that you should take anything Eric Davis says to the bank. He's a very trustworthy person. So yeah, totally fair enough. Looks good. Sounds perfect. Thank you, Dustin. Appreciate that. Pro Illusionist washing machine? No, but it's not a bad guess. It's the best guess so far. Yep, 2 seconds. I'm just going to send the StreamYard link to Vinnie. So Vinnie can join me to do what I want to do. Hey, give me 2 seconds, folks. Talk amongst yourselves. So yeah, I've set that off. Where were we? We was watching Alex Baker. I was reading something about snow or ice circles last night. I'll try and find a link. I've never really heard of snow or ice circles, but I suppose why not? Especially if you look at places like Antarctica, which I've said before, I love all the Antarctica stuff, and I find that really interesting. it's a bit of a sorry, folks, 2 seconds. I'm just sending Vinnie this link, and that'll be me. This is why this is a test, so I get away with this kind of stuff. So yeah, Vinnie, that's been sent to you. I don't see why you wouldn't have those out in Antarctica and stuff like that. If anyone's seen the Tomorrow War, has anyone seen the Tomorrow War on Amazon Prime with Chris Pratt? I quite enjoyed it. It felt like 2 movies put together. Oh yeah, when I open a web page, it does change a little bit. Yeah, but right at the end of that, they end up out in, is it Siberia, out in Russia on the ice and stuff. And I always think that's really interesting, that kind of stuff. So, Mark Colin Andrews, do me a favor, drop me a DM or something with that. That would be great. Lee, was there an episode I missed where you went into depth about your own UFO sighting? I heard the logo is based on this. Yeah. So the patches that yeah, that's kind of what I saw. Maybe just a teeny bit smaller than that above some house. Like if that's the houses, and then there was a tree line. Yeah, object spinning like I was 10, so mid 90s. It would have been just above the ground and stuff, which was sort with my mum, my sister, one of my mates, and his mum. And yeah, that's it. So, but my mum's got no interest. I should try and get my mum. Or she couldn't actually. I don't even know how I would do that. But yeah, I could film my mum talking about it one night. She's got no interest in this stuff whatsoever. It's funny. She just says it's not going to be aliens and all that pish, as she would say. So yeah, and I saw Black Triangle December 2019, which was one of the things that kickstarted me wanting to do this podcast. Lux, do you think the narrative is put and written in stone, or do you think it can be changed? Yeah, I think it can be changed and influenced. I think I get right now, okay, and people know I try and play devil's advocate at times. I get when a lot of people who have been interested in this subject since the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s turn around and say that everything that's happening now has happened before. It's all the same. And nothing's really new, which I disagree, but I do see their general point that we've always had things come out and then go away, then come out and go away, and we're at that peak and zenith of technology and information exchange with the internet and social media as big as it's ever been. We've never been so connected. The world's never been smaller. So it's just happening in a much quicker and faster way. And I find it incredible still when people say that things are slow or we've not had any news for a while. Can you imagine back in like the 90s being interested in this subject and only having meetups with friends who were interested, or getting newsletters posted to you would be the only way to hear about new events, and the way to follow that up would have been go to a library or write to someone or go to someone's house. Like, we've no idea, I don't think, how lucky we have it as to how much information's coming out as quickly as it is. That you can get Max Moskowitz driving from his house to San Marino to meet Lou on site somewhere, and that we have that access to people now. I think it's incredible, and we probably don't appreciate it at the time. Dave, hi Dave, you okay? Phil Mantle, yep, Phil Mantle's a good guy. Talk to him. I think Phil's one of those really old school ufologists, though, that especially British ufologists who know what they know and they like what they like. But yeah, Phil's a good guy. Dixon said sexy. Absolutely not aimed at me. Gerald, it is a tumble dryer. Well done. Yeah. Not joking. Tumble dryer underneath there. It's this is my Joe Rogan studio. I tell you, Joe Rogan doesn't change a baby's nappy, then 5 minutes later jump into his shed to record. Axeman saw a triangular formation a few years ago. Too high for a plane, too low for a satellite. I've seen Black Triangle before. I get at that height it would be pretty cool. I've not seen anything that high up, but who knows? Always cool to hear people sighting. So on the next listener calling, one of the first calls is one of the listeners, Harry, calling up with his sighting that's been very, very recent, and it's really interesting. So that'll be good for people to hear. Martin, not an oven. That was the I'm a few minutes behind. It was the, what do you call it, tumble dryer. George, I didn't delete any comments. If you want to put your comment back in, George Thompson, whatever it might have been. I don't know if it was something naughty, if YouTube deletes it automatically, but I don't delete comments. We had someone in the stream the last time trolling the whole time, but as people might know, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. Cheers, Mark, for that. I'm Gerald. I'm going to ask your question, but I'm going to wait on Vinny because he's ready to come in. So if Vinny's good, I'll invite him in. Believe it or not, I'm going to bring him. There he is. There's Vinny.
How you doing, man?
So obviously you're live, Vinny. All that jazz. And Vinny, as he knows, this is a test. I'm just messing about with the software and stuff, right? And playing about with some things. And if it goes wrong, that's my excuse.
Looks
But
good, dude.
this is the first time Vinny and I have spoken like
It
this.
is.
We've been meaning to like do something for a bit, and he's in the UAP media group and we chat away in there. But I'm going to ask you straight away, Vinny, because Gerald had an interesting question, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever have doubts that this is all real?
No.
No.
No, I don't have any doubts. I have doubts. What I have doubts about is the certain avenues or rabbit holes that I go down. Every now and again, I'll sort of be halfway down one and then I'll have doubts and I'll have to pull myself right back in and then start again on another one. But there's no doubts about it being real. It's just what it is.
Yeah. It's like if you do like a spider diagram of the subject and in the middle you've got UFOs and it's like, okay, yep, cool. Then off of that you go ultra-terrestrial, crypto-terrestrial, extraterrestrial, interdimensional, and then off of those you can go really, really far and it all makes sense, and some of them just go a bit crazy. And then it's always like when you get to like the Nazi technology, some really interesting stuff, but then you think if the Nazis really had that stuff, would they have lost the war? But then you had the guys came over for paperclip and made some really cool stuff. So how far did they get? I don't know. And then Tesla, really cool, interesting guy. Tesla had all that stuff confiscated to do with energy and whatnot. And yeah, you get to a point, I think, with a lot of that stuff where you go, I need to stop there because, and you know what, I'm not a researcher, never pretend I am. So that's probably the point where a real researcher would be like, I need to dig further and I need to go find proof. And I'm still at the point probably where most of my opinion is, nah, I don't think that's right, or I don't think that's true. So I kind of pull back at that point.
Yeah, no, I feel you completely. And that's what I'm saying is you'll go down a rabbit hole, get halfway down, and then it spiders off again into 10 others. And then the deeper, it's almost like Inception, you know, like triple rabbit hole down and you're stuck in it. So you've got to be careful about not getting too deep and, you know, ignoring stuff that's 3 spider webs back up, you know. There's a certain way of doing it. And I've obviously learned the hard way over the years that you can get stuck very deep, thinking you're about to find that important piece, and then you just get stonewalled or you hit that brick wall, and then you've got to clamber back out. It's not as easy. I know it sounds, it's a great metaphor, but it's pretty much like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're spot on. Pro Illusionist, what do you think of the San Marino UN UFO conference they're trying to kickstart? I think it'd be a really good step. Like all of this, I temper my expectations, I think, reasonably well, and I don't get too excited that any announcement is, that's it, we've got disclosure, this is going to be it coming out, because at any turn, something can happen or something goes away. Or do you know what I said, I think, on the news update with Dan last week? My worry at the moment, and it's a really selfish one, is that we lose Lou Elizondo back to the government when and if things kick off officially and Lou goes back to head up this office. And I know that would be great in a lot of ways, but I don't think you then have Lou jumping on everyone's podcasts and doing as many interviews. He is then back in the system, but I think he'd be a good guy to have back in there.
Yeah.
And you know what? It'd be a good job and secure and for his family and for him and stuff, but he may not even want to. What do you think, Vinny, about that?
I think we need to think about how Lou would see that. And Lou would say to us that it's not about him. The whole thing that we're trying to do right now is not about one person. So out of respect for Lou, I try and think along those lines, that he has jumped on all these podcasts, but I believe he's done it to give us all a little bit of power within ourselves to push this subject further, and then maybe reach out to other people that can help. You know, he's like a conduit for the next step rather than relying on one person. It's like a football team. There's 11 people. We don't rely on Cristiano Ronaldo every time.
Yeah, and you know what? That's fair, because I think I'm as guilty as anyone when people talk about Lou Elizondo and Chris Mellon. But Lou has a really good team of colleagues and people round about him, and everyone else that isn't even necessarily associated with Lou, like folk like ourselves who have got podcasts and people with magazines. And you know what? I don't think people do realize that even just the folk on social media keeping the conversation alive and commenting on when the mainstream media have an article or a piece put out online, it really does make a difference. That kind of stuff as well. So yeah, but I think it'd be a really good step if we manage to get stuff going. Paul, stream's perfect, thanks. Todd, who's your one interview you've not got that you want? Chris Mellon, all day, every day. He's just the impossible man, isn't he? To be honest, Chris Mellon gives Fox News 3 minutes and they're lucky to get that. So,
dude, I'd take 1 minute. I'll take 30 seconds. I'll take a hello.
Do you want to hear a funny story? This I've never told this on the podcast before. I think it's fine anyway. I don't see why not. So one night, I got an email from like a senior political editor, or was it senior news editor? It was high up at Fox, and they were like, "Hi Lou, this is such and such from whatever Fox News, and we want you on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. blah 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 to discuss the UAP issue." And I was like, oh God, I could really try and get some mileage out of this. But for whatever reason, and I'm guessing it was some intern or whatever, I was told, go find Lou Elizondo's contact information. They gave the guy my UFO UAP am@gmail.com email, and they emailed me as if I was Lou. So I passed it on to Lou's people, and he ended up on the news the next day. I think if anyone remembers, I managed to get like comments from Lou about him being frustrated at some of the footage they use in the background when he does an interview.
Yeah,
that was off the back of he had messaged thanking me for sending over the correspondence to say, I think they want you for an interview and not me. Can you imagine? I just accepted and pretended it was me, and then like I was on Fox News with like the banner and stuff going,
stick a little beard on.
Yeah, that UFO podcast, quick, click, yep. Like before they cut me off. So, but yeah, I done that. But who would you want, Vinny? One interview that you've not got.
Oh man, that is a really good question. I could easily say Mellon. He's definitely up there. So let me try and think of someone different. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I don't want to just cut a silence on the stream. But
no, I'll just read out Lee's comment.
Yeah, go for that. Give me a second.
Lee's been following the subject since the late 80s. Conventions, magazines, things are different. We're getting somewhere, especially since the Tic Tac and the Gimbal. Yeah, I've said before, Lee. There was a fork in the road in 2017, and Andres. The name of the song at the end of the podcast, I genuinely get contacted about this several times a week. It's Sean Cahill himself, or you'll find it on SoundCloud and YouTube under Minty Hyperspace. Watch some of his meditation stuff. It's pretty cool, by the way. But it's called Goblin Problems. If anyone wants an MP3 of the song, Sean like kind of gave me carte blanche to use it on the podcast, which was amazing of him. Just drop me an email. Or a DM or something, and I'll email you a copy of the song because it's Sean's and it's brilliant. So yeah,
I will just say, Andy, I think you tweeted out last week that you were listening to Sean Cahill's meditation. I think you might have been on a trampoline or something in your back garden.
It was on my kid's trampoline. Yeah.
Well, I actually went and listened to it afterwards, based on that tweet, and it was absolutely amazing. Like, you know,
he's got an incredible voice for it. Like.
Yeah, totally. Well, listen, you asked me the question who I'd like to get on. I've narrowed it down to 3, and that is, and it might annoy people, but it's Tom DeLonge, Bob Fish, and Dr. Eric Davis.
Yeah. Do you know what? Eric Davis is one of those guys. Like he's always seems to be on the fringes of the subject, but just dips in and out now and again. And I get there's people that have got contacts with him and stuff already. And I said before you came on, Vinny, I think at the end of the year, people might have a chance of Tom when he's promoting Monsters in California.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's going to suddenly make himself available for interviews and media for the UFO community when that one comes out. Because let's be honest, Tom is still a businessman and entrepreneur, and he likes to promote. So I'm guessing if we've ever got a chance of speaking to TDL, it'll be then to promote his movie.
I will say I'm working on it.
Yeah, I've dropped a few emails and people didn't get back to me, and then someone else got back to me, and I think Lou Elizondo at the start of his interview with John Greenwald made a point of saying back in February or January that he apologized for the interview not happening before because people were reaching out to him when he worked at a certain organization and he wasn't getting the messages. So that kind of shows people how hard it is to get in touch with Tom DeLonge.
Well, that's the thing. It's not just Tom DeLonge. It's actually, I mean, half the people that I've had on my show, it's not just send an email, get an answer. It's a lot of chasing and thinking you might be being rude because you're having to really push for these interviews. And, you know, it's not an easy thing to do.
No, and you're right. Like, I don't badger people. I'm not one of those 5 emails in 5 days kind of guys. And I kind of get the hint after a couple of attempts that, you know what, if someone's not getting back to me, it's not the time. Like, I'll leave it.
2, maybe 3. It depends how the first 2 responses were.
2 emails and a DM.
Well, if you've got them DM deets, man, you're already in there.
The amount of people that don't read their DMs, though, especially when it's DMs are open, but they've got 500,000 followers or something like that.
Hey, I can hold my hands up to that. I can hold my hands up to that, though. DMs are not a good thing to go through every day.
Oh, I do my best, but yeah, it's fun to do. I love like responding to people, but I just ignore my wife while I'm doing it, so people get into trouble.
My Instagram obviously has the one where I've got the most colleagues, and I say, do you understand when I say colleagues? Because this is a big thing that I don't like saying followers, and I think this has been misconstrued before. So I'm going to set it in stone now for everyone that when I say colleagues, I mean followers. And this was something that Lou Elizondo put to me a couple of months ago. Is like he absolutely hates the word followers, and it makes sense because I'm just the face of all the people that follow me on Instagram. I'm just the spokesperson, let's say. So they're no different from me. They're not my followers because I'm just one of them. I'm just the conduit to the public facing part of it. So whenever anybody hears me say colleagues, it is strictly followers. But yeah, I just wanted to set that straight because a lot of people get confused.
I don't like saying followers because it sounds big-headed as well.
Exactly.
Or like, I don't mind listeners because if you listen to, but then someone might be watching, and but yeah, followers has got that. Oh, you're a follower of mine, thanks. You know, like
I hate it.
You might as well say customer.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, thanks to all the customers out there for following. I don't know. I was telling them before, Vinnie, like I can't see whenever people might or ever want to claim that I am big-headed. Oh, do you know? Oh my god! Right, sorry, I checked. My wife must be watching this, right? She's just messaged saying, "You like my public," as if like I say, "Oh yeah, my public" or "my people." Yeah, I definitely don't think that, folks. Instead of followers, I would say, "Oh, my public." But yeah, that's the wife getting involved. She must be watching this, so now I have to be careful what I say, don't I?
Hey, listen, it's so funny because my other half, she's the same. She doesn't get it. She doesn't, and she knows because I come off of when I do lives and stuff, and I'm just Vinny. I'm just a regular guy, and that is all I am.
You walk in, you put your crown on, and you sit on the couch like everyone else, and then crack on.
No, but you know, like I literally am just the guy who comes off camera. You know, when I started my Instagram and everything, I was anonymous until I hit 10,000 followers.
I ignored my Instagram for quite a while. Like, do you know what, folks? If people that have hung about this long, I am going to get to something in a few minutes just to test out the last part of my test before I let people go. God, that makes it sound really bad. I will let you go. You're not being held here against your will. But
you're doing some videos, yeah?
Yeah. Something I want to do properly, but I'm going to test out to see how it works and what people think. I'm going to share those and get your thoughts on them as well, Vinny.
Awesome, man. Can I give you a thought right now?
Go for it.
Get rid of the overlay.
What? The StreamYard?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. No, so this is again one of the things I was trying to do, right? So that gets rid of that, okay?
That's better, yeah.
But it says I can put my logo on here, but I don't
so go to branding. There you go. What's up?
Do you know? So I wasn't clicking on it to get it to go on. Yeah, and then it's got background and stuff, but I've got but I'll yeah. This is why Dan would have been good to have on as well. And it was just me messing about. So as it says, folks, there is some stuff coming up that I'll let people know of probably next week. But it's good. There'll be more content on video, but I'll give you a shout next week when you see what that is. But it's fun, it's exciting, and it'll be different stuff as well. Vinny and Andy, I'm dreaming. Yeah, more of a nightmare than a dream, I think, to be honest. Peter, tell you what. Oh, go on.
I was just going to say, when you did that first one the other night, the first live test, I had so many DMs about tell Andy and Dan to do that like once a week or once every fortnight because people really liked it, man. I think it was because there was a little bit of UAP talk, but people got to see the people behind it all, almost like a blooper reel, and everyone loves a blooper reel. you know, because you're a funny dude.
I've lost my script pages now. 2 seconds, Vinny. I forgot where I was meant to be. Right. Gerald, you need to be a bit higher in the. Gerald, we're 45 minutes in, and you're telling me to sit up. I'm short. Okay, is that better?
I think it means move the camera down rather than move you up.
I could, but then you start seeing the tumble dryer behind under those thingy, and that doesn't look good. So yeah, I'll remember that for next time. I'll make sure it's properly thingied and stuff. But yeah, right. Listen, what I want to do is share just to see what people think and how this looks. Okay. Mel's asking about what my tipple would be. Jack Daniels and Red Bull for anyone who wants to know what I would drink. Okay, so what I want to do, folks, is have a little look at some footage, and it'll be interesting. Especially this works better with two people, so I'm glad Vinny's came on. Because the idea would normally be Dan or another, but usually Dan would be doing this with me in the upcoming stuff. Some of the Patreons who are members of the Discord server we've got. If you wanted, patreon.com, that UFO podcast. And you, for just any tier, you get to join the Discord server. There's a ton of folk in there, and we were talking about our favourite footage and sharing those. So just a few of the clips people sent through, I'm going to play and just kind of talk over. Vinny, have you got a Patreon as well? I'm just while we're here.
I do, but I'm kind of working on it, so I'm not going to promote it. One thing I will say is
send me your money. That's fine.
Make sure you've got this video on HD.
I do. I've put it to 720. It should be
perfect.
Yeah, auto 720. Cool. Nice. So this is right. I'm going to play it. People are going to know it straight away. See how this goes, right? So it is playing. Oh no, not this one. Sorry, it was a different one I was thinking of straight away. Oh, has Vinny dropped out? What a time for Vinny to drop out. So anyway, folks, if you're watching up there, he's coming back in. There he is.
No?
So Vinny, have you seen this footage before?
I've seen so much. Yeah, I have seen this.
Right. What's your instant thoughts? Okay, so you look at this nighttime camera footage.
First thing is, it looks good. Then I see the three lights jumping up and down on the screen like some weird reflection. So that makes me ask the first few questions. Then the craft looks good, but sometimes some of the lights behind the trees don't blend as well as other lights behind the trees. Like people have paid attention CGI wise to certain aspects of it. But my instinct is always to go down that route, because if it is real, I would still look for the negatives, if you know what I mean.
Right. So on that about the lights not blending, because people will obviously usually look for stuff overlapping. I'm no expert. Hi, Graham, you all right? I'm no expert in this kind of stuff at all, or optics and camera angles and all that. I'm colorblind just for a start, so it's hard for me to even judge half of this stuff, right? But I guess with this, because it's a really bright light going over a very small branch, there's just with the camera quality, that light could easily take up the whole piece, and you wouldn't see. Yeah.
So what I'm saying isn't obviously from an expert perspective. So it could be that it's just a real object, and what I'm saying could be bad CGI is actually just a bad camera, anomaly, let's say. But when I get sent these kind of things, I automatically give my first impression to them based on someone, and I say I'm certainly not an expert, but I do have people I can send these things to if they want second opinions. Then I normally ask my third question is, where is all the data? The time, the date, the place, and then other things, maybe how long was it filmed for? Is this the full clip? Because half the time they're only 10 seconds. This one's a bit longer, which is good.
So someone makes the point, though, at the start, Vinny, that the person, I was going to say the customer, the customer, sorry. The person filming does say that, then it shoots off into the sky. Right. Why did they not film that?
Yeah, big red flag, obviously. Now,
every time.
The other thing as well is I ask about the age of the video. If this has been on YouTube, let's say for 1-2 years, and it was legitimate, I can tell you right now, it would be out there. It would be talked about.
So they're saying 26th of November, 2011.
This would be bigger and better than the Navy videos by now.
Straight away. So for me, there's enough there. You don't see it shooting off. You see a little bit of it. Boom. You've got to go interesting, but probably fake.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of need to go with
And
it.
you know what Lou said about this AI tool that's coming out towards the end of the year is going to hopefully put to bed all of these videos, because we won't need them analyzed by me or in the DMs anymore. We just put them through this tool, and there we go. You know, it just stops all of this time wasting, and that sounds really bad. But
Vinnie, listen, you're British, right? So
I am.
You know, do you like football?
I do, yeah.
Right, okay. So you know what VAR's been like since it came in,
yeah,
and how that was going to fix everything, and how we would have no more contentious decisions and yeah. So when I hear about technology coming out to clear up all those little problems, I just think to VAR and wonder about that. Okay.
Do you know what? You've just thrown a complete spanner in my whole way of thinking and excitement about this footage, because you're absolutely right.
It's technology. There's always something, mate. It's 2021.
Would you know what? It'll help. It might not be the answer, but it'll help.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So it will help.
It won't be conclusive, but it might weed out some of the obvious ones that need just pushing out. Because, yeah, there you go.
Oh, so this one, folks, right? Okay, so if you have or haven't seen it, this is a 43-minute long video where someone analyzes the whole thing. Okay, I'm just interested in the actual shot. Vinny, you've seen this one, yeah?
Oh yeah,
yeah. So this was a drone that was doing just some kind of shots for whatever they were filming. Okay, they weren't out looking for UFOs or anything, but as you will see on the screen, I'll try and pick it up when it goes past. An object basically flies past at an incredible speed on camera. What are your thoughts on this one, Vinny?
No, I know this one. I know the footage. It's B-roll for an amateur documentary.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the object that we see in it, there are a few things. Oh, let me say this. Instantly, you see something that looks very, very impressive.
Yeah.
Now, after analysis and speaking to people about this, I'm still not 100% that it's conclusive of being solved. I mean, it probably is, but from what I garner, it is a very small object, because the shadow would be larger as it comes closer to camera. The speed coming towards with the speed of the drone flying towards, it gives a false perspective of the speed. Yeah, that's kind of as far as I got with my analysis, because then I went and saw a few professionals and analyze it and refute it. But I'm not very good at talking how they talk, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm like with this stuff as well. Am I missing the actual bit in this one?
It does. I think there it was, but I think they slow it down a little bit after. I don't know this long analysis video.
Yeah, that's where someone sent me it over in the Discord, and then I noticed it was like 43 minutes long.
Yeah.
When I go to do this stuff properly, folks, when it's not a test, remember, it'll be already sorted out in advance as well. But yeah, essentially the object like zips past. There's not a lot you can really take from it. It seems like there's something there.
Yeah.
You get the people saying it's a bug and all that kind of stuff as well, but do you know what makes me kind of more appreciative of those sorts of shots is a couple of months ago when I took the picture of it looked like a tic-tac looking object in the air when I was going along the road. I was stuck in traffic and there was a little black object sitting up in the sky, and it's, you know, when you've got a UFO podcast or you have an interest in UFOs, then it's really it's awful to see something because no one is like, oh, of course you're going to see UFOs because you like them. So for me, I saw this little black object sitting up at the clouds, not moving, and I tried to get my camera because I was driving, but it was very, very slow, folks. I was doing it safely, and I was doing that while I was driving to try and take a picture. Took a picture, couldn't get the object in the shot. However, when I got home, I went to look at the picture and kind of blew it up on the screen, and not where the black object was, but separately, there was a kind of tic-tac looking object sitting in the sky. So that was not there when I was looking with my own eyes. So potentially I've caught something flying past.
That's interesting.
Could have been. I'll send you it on, Vinny, because I've got the stuff on my phone still. I'd posted it on Twitter a while back.
The initial object was black, but I assume the tic-tac object that appeared next to it was white.
So it wasn't in the same place in the sky. So if I was looking at the little black object sitting here next to the clouds and stuff,
Yeah.
The white object was like over here. So I wasn't looking at that or for that or trying to take a picture of that. I was looking at the little black object that
But you
wasn't
still
there.
weren't able to tell what either were.
The black one didn't appear within the shot. So what may have happened, it might have been the same object and it moved or took off.
Wow.
But
I'd love to see it. Yeah,
there's
please do
certainly,
send
and
it me.
I sent it to a couple of the guys you might know online who are always analysing videos and whatnot. And I think it was Scott Brown that was messaging me and said, look, if it's an aircraft, then it's upside down, because the only point of it I can see that looks like it might have a tail would be on the bottom of it at the back.
Right.
So I can't see any wings, not that there aren't there potentially, but if it's an aircraft, it's a jet flying upside down, which would be wrong. So they were like, I can't see any more than that because of the quality and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty interesting. So yeah. And then the last one, right? I've got to go straight in with my nonsense meter here, right? This one, Vinny.
Oh God.
I can see Dan in the chat as well now. Dan was helping move. We're finishing up soon, Dan, so I know you'll be busy and won't have time to set up and stuff. So, but hi. This pyramid above Washington, okay? Loads of people got excited about this stuff.
They still do.
Yeah. Do you, Vinny?
No.
No. Do you think when Mick West says bokeh, this is what he was talking about?
I don't know, because if I agree that this is bokeh because Mick West says, then I've got to agree with a lot of other things he says, which I don't necessarily do. What I will say is that I've heard other people say that this is not an anomalous UAP or a craft or anything. There have been a few prosaic explanations with weather and cloud and camera angles and stuff, and I tend to lean towards that.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not an expert, but I still have people. I had someone email me today asking me to ask Lou about this tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I mean, I kind of understand why the people do get excited, but
because it would be incredible. That would be the new Phoenix Lights, wouldn't it? Like,
it would, yeah. I mean,
and they're changing the contrast and stuff on that because that's not what it looks like on the actual video.
no.
But yeah, that was not floating above Washington. And on the footage, I don't know if they've got it on this one. This is just from one angle. There are two other angles that you see this from as well. Not for me. No. Definitely not.
And you know what? If anyone sees this that knows I'm on Instagram, I will get a couple of messages tonight saying, you don't know what you're talking about. That's a genuine pyramid and all that stuff, because people do believe, and that's okay. You know, we're all allowed to have our own opinions, but all I ever say to people is that I will always pass this on to someone else and get a 2 or 3 opinions of it, and which I have done, and it's apparently not something anomalous. So there you go. That's my 2 cents.
Laura Sosa says this footage is from a Broken Bells music video. I don't know who they are or if that's true, but Laura, I am going to totally take a Wikipedia here and believe you 100%.
I'm on it. I'm on it right now.
Yeah, Vinny's going to check that. Dan believes it's real. Dan's like that though with this kind of stuff. Dan just goes for anything.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, he does. He's bad for it. The editing I do makes Dan sound highly intelligent and credible. It's really impressive actually what I do. Laura said she's joking.
Oh. Yeah,
Laura, you've got Vinny checking it out and everything.
Hey.
But yeah, it's just nonsense. There was no pyramid floating above Washington. So yeah, but folks, I would like to know. I'm just going to stop sharing what people think of the sharing the footage and talking through it. I just picked some of the kind of weaker stuff, to be honest, and quick ones, because that's the idea for something we're going to be doing coming up, is going through some of the older footage, some of the newer footage, and doing a little bit of a review of it and having a talk through, because there's been some controversial stuff recently. And Vinny, the one of the saucer flying next to the aircraft, obviously you've seen that one that's been doing the rounds.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't think it's real.
No? What about it for you?
I saw that footage a couple of times over the past probably 10 years, actually. I think it's a 2011 video. And this is where I shoot myself in the foot, is I saw some very thorough debunking of it that was very good. I never saved it. I thought, that's it, done. I don't need to pay any attention to this anymore, and moved on. And now a few years later, it's done its, I think this is like the third round that it's done being all over Reddit, and then obviously it spreads to other social media. And then there was people saying, well, it's not a commercial airline, it's an F-18. I can tell people from the analysis that I've done and spoken to in the last week, just to kind of put it to bed again, it is a commercial airliner, or the wing is a commercial airliner wing. Now, then you beg the question, and it's just a question, is like, where's the people freaking out? You know, where's the long video?
I think Chris Leto had said it wasn't a commercial airliner; it was military, but it wasn't an F-18 or 16. He said it was something like a TA-137 or something like that.
Maybe then, but it's got a hell of a lot of a longer wingspan than an F-18.
Yeah, like it was like a transport type vehicle or something. Yeah,
it's
and like you say, it
plane.
would have still had people potentially, or they would have been quite low down. So Graham said he really enjoyed this format. I didn't ask Graham to say that, folks. Oh, thanks, Graham.
Oh, you've got that one.
Just mopping my brow here, Graham. Sorry. Oh, thanks. I would never ask a colleague or friend to say it was good. Yeah, I've got Graham's previous book. I've not got his new one yet. I'm waiting on him sending me a free copy.
Mate, I'd spent an hour and a half this morning with Graham's new book, and my goodness.
Yeah, it's a tough read. You're right.
Do you know what? I had I was making notes as I was going along, because I'm doing a book club review of it on a channel in about a month, and I thought I'd just read it and then be able to talk about it. But no, you got to take notes, because the detail is incredible.
Yeah, I know you've got Graham coming on, haven't you? Have you done that one yet with Graham?
I have. Yeah, we've done that one. But I'm going on Quantum Witch Priscilla's YouTube channel with Graham and a couple of others to talk about the book. But I thought I'd just have some good questions about it. But now I've got to pick out specific points with very fine details, because it's awesome.
Yeah, Graham's coming on soon to have a chat through it as well. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But listen, folks, thanks, Vinnie. Thanks for jumping on without any planning. Dan lets us down regularly, so it was good of you to do that. Hi, Dan. Sorry, I forgot you were there. But yeah, no, it was good, and it was good to kind of test this stuff out again, folks. And I've don't worry, I've not been cheap, and I've got rid of the free version I had last week, and I've paid for the pro version of this now, or whatever it is. So I'll mess about with it, and I'll make sure it looks nice. And thanks, Vinnie, for helping us get the.
Any questions, let me know. I've been using it for quite a while now. I can help you out anytime. But listen, you've got to come on my channel and do some stuff, because this was like 15 minutes, first time we've ever spoken.
Yeah,
like face to face. We talk in the chat like every day pretty much, but it's not the same.
No, listen, I'm happy to do it in the chat, and just drop Dan a message. He arranges all my appearances, and that's it's fine. Yeah, absolutely, we'll do that.
Awesome.
Next week I've got Ross on Monday, Cool Tart, and that'll be out later in the week, and then Jamal Thomas hopefully later in the week, as I said, folks. So
I love Jamal.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I got to talk to him all too briefly on Unidentified Celebrity Review on Big Phone Home 2, because we were on the Danny Sheehan section of the show.
Right. But he was in like Turkey in a hotel room or something, right?
Yeah, Danny's actually still doing his part of the Big Phone Home 2 now. It's still going. It's been 184 hours consecutive streaming he's done.
Is his phone still pinging? I'm sure the battery's died.
Yeah, I loved how like everyone knew. Lou Jimenez was far too nice not to just call out, Danny, can you turn your phone or put yourself on mute? Because everyone else was clearly mute, and you could just see Danny like this. And yeah, it was a horrendous secret. But yeah, awesome. So thanks, folks. We'll let you all go there. Thank you for joining in and hanging out. It's gave me some more food for thought for stuff that's coming up. And
can I just shamelessly plug my live interview with Lou Elizondo tomorrow night?
I was literally about to say, yeah, you've got some stuff coming up. Go on.
Thank you. Yeah, it'd be good, just in case everyone wasn't aware, but I have promoted the hell out of it. Maybe a bit overload, but yeah, tomorrow night UK time, 8 p.m, which I think is 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Live on my YouTube Disclosure Team, Lou Elizondo. Come along, hang out. It's going to be good. I'm turning super chat off though, by the way. No super chat.
Right. I said before about super chats, I've got no issues with people doing it. I don't own YouTube, right? It's just, when people interrupt an interview to shout about super chats, and I watch some gaming podcasts and stuff for like,
Yeah, me
and
too.
they do it as well, and it's just like, ask the questions, but a good question's a good question. That's just my point with it. And yeah, people do your thing and everything, but but yeah, that's awfully good of you to do that as well, because content creators should be able to make cash wherever they can.
Yeah, but I mean, my thing is, I've planned a bit at the interview and all the questions. I've put out to people on Instagram to send me questions, and I'll pick a select few. Then, if that gets bulldozed with loads during the interview, then how can I ignore people that are paying? That seems rude. But then I don't want your money, kind of thing. It's all like So turn it off.
I get you. But yeah, that's good of you, and do you know what? It'd be a good interview. Lou's not done loads of stuff recently. He's been busy. Is he still in San Marino?
No, he jumped on my channel a couple of nights ago, actually.
Is he back?
He's back. Yeah, he's back. He's in a good mood. He was excited about San Marino. We touched upon it briefly, but he only had 10 minutes to spare with me the other night. But obviously, we're going to go into it a little bit more tomorrow. But I've obviously got other things I want to talk to him about. So
absolutely. There's Dan just chiming in a few minutes late, as
we
usual.
miss you,
That
Dan.
no Lou is home now. But yeah, I was in Glasgow a few days ago, and I'm back there tomorrow. I went to my bed last night at 6:45 at night, and I slept till 7 o'clock this morning. So,
nice.
Yeah, it was a rough few days, and back for the football tomorrow. But listen, folks, I've rabbited on long enough. Vinnie, awesome. Thank you for jumping in like that last minute, and it's been fun.
Pleasure.
So, speak to you again soon, folks. Thank you. Have a good one tomorrow, Vinnie. Lou Elizondo, 8 o'clock. Catch you in a bit.
See you later.